Aside from practicing law, I'm also a certified security specialist. So for those of you who do not know what that means, it's a Philippine Stock Exchange program. The purpose there is to it's mainly on securities. So I'm also a real estate broker and an appraiser. At the same time, I just recently passed the environmental planning exam. Planner. Also run several businesses.
How many?
So, siguro more than five, more than five, 6, 7, something like that. Also, I've been investing in the stock market since 2005. So, in terms of investment, law, and all the anything related to that, I can say medyo natay grasp gamay ba. So, that is why it is very useful when we run this investing advocacy group, or rather personal finance and investing advocacy group.
So one of the hot topics today, kining mga Ponzi schemes,
Okay.
mga allegedly investment schemes that are proliferating, I think nationwide.
Actually,
Scams.
with regards to na may mga SEC advisories and revocation of this the primary registration of this companies.
Advisory is like a warning to the public.
Advisory is a warning, and then later on, dili mo tuman sa advisory, then the SEC will issue a CDO or cease and desist order in order for them to stop what they are doing. So if they are soliciting investment, respond to the
allegation or
and then after the CDO, di gyud mo follow, then we have what we know as the revocation. So i-revocate na gyud ang iyang certificate of incorporation,
so that they're no longer legal to
wala na
operate.
siya gitawag man na sa law og juridical personality. So when you incorporate with the SEC, what happens there is, by fiction of law, ang imong company will have a legal personality. It will become a distinct person, separate and distinct from the stockholders. So i-revoke na gani na, it is as if
You don't have any legal rights.
no legal personality.
How can we identify or avoid these scams? Because there's so many, and although some are same schemes, repeating schemes, but they just call it differently, or they brand it with different names or different
Actually,
benefits.
ang SEC has provided a checklist on their website. So, pero we will discuss that with regards to the how can you avoid
like a bullet point, easy to remember.
Ang first gyud nga atong tanawon is, of course, the primary registration. Ansa man na SEC naka-register ba na as a corporation? Some scams man good wala sa naka-register sa SEC. So ang ila is cooperative daw,
or
DTI for sole proprietorship. So mo na una. Pero the problem with a lot of people is they stop there. Murabag ug pakiton sila sa mga these schemes or companies or personalities or groups offering this investment schemes. So makita na gani sila og business permit, DTI, etc. Mana murag believe na sila. Okay? So ang first is it's just a license to operate. So ang kanang una, ug makita na kag primary registration sana sa bullet point first, di ba? And then nakay primary registration kanang articles of incorporation, o ingon kag sole proprietorship DTI, o maingon ka og kaning co-op na kaning sa cooperative authority. Okay? So nanagay na siya, and then you find the business permit, di ba? And then you naabay BIR registration, resibo, etc. Nagpay ba nagtaxes. So once ka na siya, it should not stop there, kay inani may tabo ana, kay if nag-offer na siya og any investment scheme sa public, it needs what they call as the secondary license from the SEC. So ang sipyat yun sa public ani mo nang daghan gyud kayo ang na-scam karon. No, sad to say, kay makakita lang sila tong giingon nimo, ya pag man na dito sila invest. Ang una gyud nga question para ma-stop gyud tanan, pangutanon gyud og anybody offering an investment scheme, pangutanon dayon og do you have a secondary license? Because without the secondary license, under the Securities Regulation Code, mahog ka og illegal gyud. Kay bawal man gyud na nga you will ask investment from the public.
So what if they say our secondary license is in progress?
Kana mo na uso kayo, kana maingon nga in process, or even if maingon sila, wa magug kay right to ask from investments from the public if you do not have the actual license itself. O kana maingon nga in process, di mo na pwede. Okay? Di na pwede. Never accept that excuse nga ang ilang secondary license allegedly is in process. Kay getting a secondary license is very stringent. Lisod kayo na siya kwaon. In fact, sa registration pa lang daan, you're required to pay a certain amount, no, sa kuan 1% of the capitalization. So imagine na, og na kay let's say kapa, that's a billion, di ba? Ang ilang kuan. So let's say sa 1 billion, ang 1% ana pila man. Mo na imong bayaran sa SEC. Can you imagine that? To get this secondary license. So, aside from ana, ang kanang imong mga scheme nga gi-offer sa public, reviewhon pa yun na siya sa SEC. Unsa man ni, kuan ba yun ni siya, kanang makasustain ba ni siya, sustainable ba ni? So, once nga, tanaw nila nga di gyud katagaan na ng secondary license. So, that is why, kanang mga, kay mo man actually, mo na manadawat na mga message, mga PM karon nga, ningon sila sir, nga kani ko no, ongoing ko no ilang secondary license. Actually, ayaw mo paminaw ana kay lisod kay ng secondary license kwaon.
So how long usually from your experience or knowledge?
Well, it depends no on the kuan, on the kay
If it's proven sustainable.
if it's proven sustainable. Usually ana bihon pa na dito sa kuan Manila pa kay kuan kay karon like primary registration ron Manila naman ta, online naman tanan. Ina na pagka kuan ba. Samot na karon nga dagan na kay scam, samot na gyud kay stricto siguro.
That's one red flag to note, the secondary license. What are the
Well,
others?
you have the primary registration and the initial documents. You have the secondary license. So, diri pa lang da secondary license,
If it fails,
nako na filter na. Wag ana. Wala na siya. So, I would say siguro mga 80-90% sa mga schemes nga kuan og i-filter nimo diri, wala na, tangtang na sila. Okay? So, ang third is dili sad siya ingon nga kuan, siguro murag kuan siya ba, murag kanang parallel siya sa nga bullet point is kaning gitawag og ilang returns. Ingon ani na siya no. When the SEC gives you the secondary license, ang mahitabo ana man god is you are not supposed to make any guarantees. Usually sa mga scamming yung nga guaranteed 30%. Kung kana nga scheme, you present that to the SEC, may yung SEC na dili na pwede. Because ang ruling yun na sa SEC is you never guarantee the performance of an investment. Once you hear somebody nga mayingon nga guarantee ang performance sa usa ka investment, then you should raise a red flag. Gawas ana mga
unless if they say this is the range.
well, ang hitabuan na what they do usually is you're allowed to make a projection.
Okay.
Like for example, para sa VULs, mayroon sila nga 4%, 6 or 8. Onya, kana pag yun nga range, napag yun na sila kuan nga dapat diha ra kutob. Example sa IC, mayroon sila nga 8 ra ta kutob ang projection ha. Onya, napag yun na disclaimer nga gamay nga
IC,
past insurance commission. Napag yun na disclaimer nga past performance does not guarantee future results. Napag yun na. So inana ka safe ba? Pero, well, mingon, na yung mga guaranteed, pero mingon ka, for example, time deposit, gagmay magkaya na, di ba? Okay ra na siya niya. Practice mo yun na sa BSP nga. You can, kuan, kailan man nang i-apply dito, yung approve man nga, kanang mo yun ni imong return, mo ni imong kuan, di ba? Kasi TD, time deposits, di ba? Palisimas bangko, mo ni imong kuan. Nya, market kuan man sana siya, market forces. Pero mingon na gani, og mo ni siya niya, guaranteed niya, pila man, 30%. Pero kan believable kayo, di ba? Unsa man ang klaseng negosyo that can guarantee that much returns. So usa na siya sa tanawonon, moingon na gani guaranteed onya the return is ridiculously high, then that's a red flag. Okay? Kay mo bitaw nag-ingon ni Benjamin Graham, business is most intelligent, or investment rather is most intelligent when it is most business-like. So if it does not make business sense ang usa ka scheme or usa ka proposal offer to invest, if it does not make business sense, then it is not intelligent. Therefore,
if
it
dili-
is a scam.
Can you explain like na a very layman's what the SEC does or what their responsibility is? Because many are blaming or filing, especially
Cases.
the defenders are trying to put the SEC
The blame
as
to
the
the
bad
SEC.
guy.
Okay.
And then they don't even know they're making stuff up about investment should help people. You know, you're just bullying since you're not proposing solutions. You're just bringing others down. Crab mentality. So what is the security? What does the law say about securities or the investment?
Kani mangong SEC, di ba, Securities Exchange Commission. Ang purpose mo nila, well, they do a lot of things. Registration sa mga businesses, etc. Corporations, yun na. Actually, dagan functions of the SEC, but one of the functions of the SEC is to protect the investing public. Okay, so they are there in order to why mabiktima unta aning mga scam ba. Unya, kaning Securities Regulation Code, no? It's not something that is so old, pero it's not something that is so new also.
Because it's being updated.
Yeah. Not updated, bali, saan na siya, mga year 2000 siguro if I'm not mistaken, no? 2000 plus or something. This just did not come nga, kanabitang, lang, naunaan lang nila, no? Actually, before even the Securities Regulation Code, daghan mga scam nga nahitabo. Okay? And out of the wisdom sa atong lawmakers, and of course, ilang research sad sa mga kuan sa past and other countries, ilan ning pattern nga kani siya ang purpose is para maproteksyonan ang public. Mo na nga stringent kay ang Securities Regulation Code nga you should not ask investments from the public if you do not have a secondary license. You have to register it with the SEC.
That's in the securities regulation.
Yes, and in fact, sa Securities Regulation Code, you cannot, aside from asking investment, there's a criminal component magod sa Securities Regulation Code, no? Pwede ka ma-chargean og criminal. So dili lang ni
Who will
siya.
file? Is it the SEC or
Okay,
or
it's an offense against the state man. No? So pwede kang filean ana nga kay kana bitang mo kuan ka mo invite ka people to invest in an investment scam. Actually, this is a violation of the security. Dili ikaw may nagsugod sa scam, ha? Nang-invite ra ka.
Okay, gi-invite ka.
No, ikaw may naghimog salesperson or broker or endorser, ana. Pwede kang ma-chargean under the Securities Regulation Code. Okay. Pero
So that's why SEC was asking for the list of people who are invested. Is that also the
I think so. Kaya ningon man sila nga kaning mga kapwa defenders, mga kinsa pa ng mga defenders
So
sa mga
like,
scams.
What's the legal term? They are
Accessory to the crime.
Yeah.
In essence, yes. Pero not only accessory, kaysa primarily liable yun sila kaysa under the securities.
They are also invite people.
Yes, they are inviting people man to invest. So kana siya,
But
may
let's say
criminal liability ana.
Let's say there's so many. Let's say they have 5 million.
Yes.
5 million willing victims or defenders. So what will the SEC do if they
Kuha naman
have
guni-
all the 5 million names?
Kuha naman guna siya.
They're also victims, but they're
Yes.
also accessory to the crime.
I don't think nga tanan sad mo ay kanang nag-invite sad na ay certain a lot of usam sa this reason ngano ni proliferate ning investment
because
schemes kay
it's
mga invite man.
yeah.
But not all. So naay possibility nga katong mga nang-invite kusog kay mang-invite og kanang kuan ari diri appeal diri kay naabiya na sila commission. I think mga I don't know pila for kapa I think 5% man siguro or something like that if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so na sila commission. Okay? So ang giingon diri gani sa Securities Regulation Code is no person shall engage in the business of buying or selling securities.
Period.
So kato nang the scam company buying and selling. Now, as a broker or dealer or act as a salesman or an associate person of any broker or dealer unless registered as such with the commission. So sa ito pa, di ka pwede mahimong broker, salesman, di ba? Kaya ka na mag-invite ka. No,
You're a broker.
naman kag naghimo kang salesperson ana sa unregistered securities. Okay? So, naani siya ay criminal component.
Liability.
Liability.
So that's the SEC and SRC
Yes.
in a nutshell.